So, in this week's YouTube video, we are diving into what you need to do if you are getting nada, no reaction whatsoever, no hearts, no likes, no anything, no comments on your social media post. Then you must watch this, and you must stop in the meantime. Go and take a look. Hello, and welcome to this week's YouTube video. My name is Emma Holmes, and I'm coming in to you from Rockstar HQ. And today I want to talk about when you feel like your social media is absolute tumbleweed, when you feel like there is nothing really happening and that you're actually not getting very much reaction in return for the time, effort, energy and attention that you're putting in. And I see this a lot. I see, I'll go over and have a mosey at some people's Facebook pages and have a little bit of a look around and see what's going on. And I see a trend of posts going by day by day by day with no interaction, no engagement, nothing really happening. And it breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart that people keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. And it's really sad because it doesn't need to be that way. So if you are currently in that position, then listen up, today's video is for you. If you have been in that position and you want to make sure that you don't get back there again, today's video is for you. And it's good for some general sort of social media housekeeping and making sure that you are really staying in the zone when it comes to your social media. Now, lots of people will come to me in search of a social media strategy. They want a strategy. They want to make sure that they're getting it right and that they're ticking the boxes. And actually, social media is much more than that. It's much more than a going through the motions. And I see people, giving away their, their posting strategy and things like that, and people falling over themselves for it. But just because a certain posting strategy might work for me, that doesn't mean that it's going to work for you in your business. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for your audience. And actually creating and delivering your social media is a very personal thing, because what I often see people do when they are in this position and they've got that tumbleweed rolling through their social media bit, and that is by no means judgy on there, then what happens is you can feel a genuine disconnection in what they're putting out there, and they're not actually connected into the stuff that they're doing. They may well be scheduling and forgetting, or they are simply putting out posts in order to have ticked the box of I have posted on social media, or they are trying to follow a certain strategy. They're trying to make sure that there's X amount of blog posts on there, and that there's the right amount of this type of post on there, and there's the right amount of that type of post on there, and actually it feels quite prescriptive. So the first thing that I would say to you is that really connecting with your social media is so important. You don't have to be plugged into your social media all of the time. You don't have to be a slave to your social. That isn't what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there has to be a genuine connection with what you're posting and the purpose of that post in order to create that relationship with your audience. Because it is about connection. Everything that we're doing in business is about creating, nurturing, and taking forth those connections that are before us. And we're in this world whereby we can connect with the world through social media, and we're immensely privileged to be able to do that. And we're the first era of business that has been able to do that. But what we have to make sure is that we're not looking at it as a broadcasting tool. We're not looking at it as shouting out what we want to talk about. We've got to make sure that what we're doing is creating posts and videos and imagery and everything that we're creating, that we're doing that for a purpose. Now, the purpose of some posts can be to educate and teach. So we're thinking about the fact that, what things do our crowd really need to know from us? What things can we give them little snippets of? Now, education and teaching can come in very many different forms. And, I know that a lot of the things that could fall under the educate and teach category in my business are sometimes things that surprise me a little bit, because they're a little bit behind the scenes and they're a little bit educate and teach. Now, I put an Instagram post out this week where I talked about the things that I do if I've got a really, really busy client day. And I did a list of things which included making sure I was hydration, making sure that I had something ready for lunch. And one of the tips that I put in there is that I create a packed lunch and put it in the fridge. So when I do a salad box for my husband to take to work, I do me a salad box as well. So as if I was going to an office job and I was taking my packed lunch, it's all there and it's ready in the fridge so that I will eat, because I forget to eat often if I've got a really busy day. Or if I do remember to eat on a really busy day, I'll often grab something that isn't going to sustain me, that isn't going to allow me to be as tuned in to the last client as I was to the first client. It's important that my energy levels are sustained through a busy client day so that the last client doesn't get a raw deal because I'm starting to get exhausted. I'm well hydrated, I am well nourished, and I've made sure that I've looked after my physical being. Now, that was an educate and teach post with a behind the scenes post. So it was a great way of incorporating something, and obviously for me it was a little bit of a curveball. It's something that I do all of the time. It's something that I put down as a tip. It's something that inspired other people to get in touch with me on Instagram or message and say, that's a really good idea, I'm going to try that. So education and teaching is your first category. That doesn't have to be boring, like that example just shows there, that was a little bit of an insight into something that I do, but also is a bit of an educational tool to help and support people to think about the ways that they're caring for themselves during busy days and the ways that they can maintain their energy for their clients, etc., etc. To amuse, entertain, and be humorous. That's another purpose behind posts. Social media is social. There is a lot of doom and gloom in the world, and having that ability to create connection and to make people laugh is really, really good. Obviously, it depends on the genre of your business. It depends on what sort of thing that you do as to how you can go about that. But having an element of lightheartedness within your Facebook posts is a really good idea. Now, for me, a lot of that comes on evenings and weekends, because I know that I don't want to actively encourage my crowd to be working really late at night and to be, really on it and doing, massively educational posts at times of day where they shouldn't actually, be at the coalface. So I keep that into, times where I want to be a little bit more, silly or funny or whatever it might be. Another purpose of post, engagement. So when you have tumbleweed running through your social media, often this is the one that feels the hardest. And I'm going to link in a video that I've done previously that is going to give you 5 ways to improve the engagement on your Facebook page. So you can go away and watch that, and that's very much around how you can get people talking to you, how you can start to create conversation, and then with that conversation you are creating connection, and that's a brilliant way forward. The next one's behind the scenes. By nature, we are all nosy AF. Okay, we all love to see behind the scenes. Now, when you go on holiday and you've got your phone and you're snapping photographs of everything that you see because it's all brand new and it's all really, really exciting and it's all fresh and it's a different perspective. Now, I know that when you're sat in your office, you don't see that. You don't see that different perspective. I don't see that this broom here, right? So, from a behind the scenes perspective, this broom might be incredibly interesting to my crowd. So this is my witch's broom that the gorgeous Andrea Lancaster witchery made for me, and this sits in the corner of my office. Now, I see that every day, so to me that isn't necessarily something that will catch my eye when I walk into my office, but for other people that's really interesting. I could pick out this picture here, which some of you will have seen, some of you won't have seen. Got that for my birthday last year. It was a commission from the gorgeous Sarah Cornforth, the magical creatrix. And that, again, you may not have seen that. You may find that super interesting. I see it every day. And, you know, whilst I still hugely appreciate it, I see it all the time. I've got a little ball of succulents that I've managed to keep alive. Keeping succulents alive and growing a successful business aren't intertwined. I have seen an ad around that, but it's not true. I've kept these alive since April last year. April 2018 I got these. Aren't I a clever girl? Put in the comments if you can keep succulents alive. They're amazing. They're amazing. We've got an award up there. So, you know, when you look around your office and you look at the behind the scenes view, the stuff that you see every single day, you know, people don't often see. And I'll take pictures of what's this side of the camera too, because you're not seeing that on a day-to-day basis. You need to approach sometimes your behind the scenes look with the same eyes as you approach snapping away things on holiday and being able to get into that zone of seeing the excitement in the everyday. So we've got education and training, we've got humour and, you know, keeping the lightheartedness alive. We've got behind the scenes, and we have already touched on that ability to engage. So those are very important things. Also that connection with you, who you are, what you're all about in your business, and allowing that essence to flow rather than creating very stuffy posts that are very, you know, that are very much, meh. I always say to people that we need to move from meh to, oh, I need to read that, or I need to buy that, or I need to get involved with that. We need to change that level of excitement, and being able to infuse yourself through the posts that you're posting on social media is really important. Obviously the behind the scenes stuff will help with that, but also make sure that you're introducing yourself to your crowd, that you're introducing the ways that you work with people, often to your audience, that you are creating that connection. So really re-engaging with your social media is a fabulous idea. Like I say, I'll tag the how to get more engagement video into the description with this video, and I'll also put it on the end screen as well so that you can take a click and move through. The other thing that creates that tumbleweed in social media is a lack of clarity. So if you don't feel like you really know and own your message, then you might feel like you've got this disconnect going on. Your confusion and your lack of clarity absolutely puts a block in the way of you being able to create clarity for your crowd. So if you lack clarity, being able to create clarity for your crowd is nigh on impossible. It's not going to work. You're not going to be able to do it. So if you need some help and support with that, then what I would suggest that you do is that you have a little bit of a look at a link that I've popped under this video too, that is a link to a waiting list that I've got going on for my brand new program, Rock and Soul. Now, I'm not going to go sales pitchy here, but what Rock and Soul is all about is about you getting a huge level of clarity in your business. You're going to get really clear on what you do and who you are. You're going to get really clear on, you know, the ins and outs and whys and wherefores of your business, of your crowd, of yourself. You're going to be able to start to nurture those relationships. You're going to be able to look at how you take that nurturing and connection further, and you're going to be able to turn that into sales. So if you want to get on that waitlist, there's also some great videos that I am sharing with the waitlist that are all behind the scenes looks at launching a product and the things that we go through when we are looking to launch a product. So you might want to get yourself on there. But what I don't want you to do is, if your social media is currently tumbleweed, is to just keep going. It's time to stop. It's time to take stock, and it's time to look at bringing your heart into your social media rather than it all sitting in your head. I hope you have an epic day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.